Good morning. 1 second. I get the stream set up. We'll be starting momentarily. Almost done. Combat was good. Creatine was good, brother. All right, if you guys were here last time, we started creating the roommates app. We'll start where we left off. Hour left on your drive. Drive safe, brother. Create a little thing in the chat. One second. Let me know if you can hear me all right too. All right, let's see what we have so far. Because last time we started on the top nav bar, making it responsive. So what we'll do is go into our folder inside of VS Code. And actually, let me just close this out and we can do this from the top. And open up VS Code. Go to open. We had it on our desktop. And we called it YouTube site. Now we could open up roommates, but for this, we'll just open this up. And it'll take us there anyway. We have the terminal open. We'll go to CD roommates. And then we'll npm start to start our server. You sound good. Appreciate it, bro. And this is what we have so far. Say it looks good. And we can pull up our other roommates app. Let's pull it up here. And just drag it to the side. So far, this is what we have. Roughly the same color. We can check on the responsiveness from what we did last time. Once we get to this size, roommates disappears. We'll do the same for this one. So we get to this side, roommates disappears. Go down more. All of the options disappear. We get our little hamburger menu. We click that and we get it all here. Click the X and we go back to this. Perfect. So today we'll be doing the header. Your matches. A perfect match means you both match exactly what you're looking for with the perfect match icon that we have downloaded over here. And then we'll also throw in this, but we won't worry about responsiveness for this today. We'll only worry about the responsiveness for this, which should be fairly easy because not doing much. Only once you get to this size, it goes into a column. And then once you get to that small size, it just disappears completely. And then for this, we'll just add this in there. All right, let's start coding. All right, so far we have this, and this is a navbar component. We'll create a new component, and then we'll add it to our app.js directly under the navbar. Now, if this was a functional website instead of just a web page, we would do browser routing and things like that. But for browser routing, the navbar would be at the top of every page, so that would stay the same. But I'm sure for search, favorites, and messages, this probably wouldn't be on there. This would only be on the matches or the /matches route. But just for practice purposes and just to make this web page, we're going to just put it inside of app.js. So let's start with adding a new file inside of components, and we'll call it header.jsx. Then it is a React Arrow functional export with components, and this may or may not receive props. We'll save it, and then we'll import it to app.js directly under navbar. So if we just type in header, it should autocomplete, and you'll see the autocomplete will import it from .components/header, and it'll automatically import it. It's a self-closing, and we save it, and we should see header pop up over here to the left. Yep. So now that it's doing exactly what we want, and we can add whatever we want inside the header, and it'll say whatever we need to say. So we can just test it out. We can say hello world, save it, and yep, we get exactly what we need. Perfect. Okay, get my chat set up. All right, now this should be fairly easy. Shouldn't take too long. Looks like it's just an H1 that says your matches. And H1 is a heading tag, the biggest one, and then a little sign that we'll just copy and paste on the opposite side. And this is flexed, at least for the large size, and then the image also on this side. Sounds good. Let's code it out. So on this one, we'll just have a div. We'll call it .flex for now. And we'll add some padding to it. Let's do some padding right of, I think on the last one we did like what, 10%? If not, we can just change it to 10% on the navbar. We'll do the same thing for padding left. Give that one 10% also. And this is with TailWind CSS. We can save it. We don't have anything there to show, but we could just say hello in here. Okay, 10% brings us roughly here. Let's go to the navbar and make sure that our padding is at 10%. We have it at 12 here. We'll just make it 10 here also. So then it'll be lined up. Perfect. Looks good. Okay. How's your drive going there, creatine? Go back to here. Remove the hello. And then we'll have an H1 that says your matches. Now we do need to justify the content on here because it's going to be justify between. And we need to make this a lot bigger. So we'll just say text. We'll try 4XL for now, and then find medium to make it a little bit thicker. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now we need to worry about the right side. This is all that's on the left, so we don't necessarily need to put it in a div. It's just a waste of coding space. But for this one, we will need a div, so we'll do flex. And so we can also chain items that'll come up in the class name. So normally we do just .flex and you'll see automatically a div created with class name of flex. But if we do something like .flex and then we chain it with a .item center and then we click enter, it'll automatically create that space for us. So it'll be a div with a flex and it'll automatically space for you and then give that name item center too. Very convenient. For this, we'll just create a span tag and we'll copy and paste whatever this is here. Control C and Control V. We'll save that and see how it looks so far. Perfect. Of course, we'll need to make that a little bigger, but for now that works. Let's go ahead and add that class name. Actually, let's wait. That might actually look good. We'll see. But now we'll need that image. And to add that image, what we need to do is import it. And we'll just call this image perfect, just for simplicity. So we'll import. Oh, actually, we need to drag it over first into our assets before we import it. There it is, perfect match. Now we can call it whatever we want to. We can call it Bob if you want to, but for simplicity, we'll call it perfect because it makes sense. We'll import that from /assets because we're going up and into our assets folder that has /perfect.png. And then we'll use JavaScript, open the curly braces and put in perfect inside. And then once we save it, it'll be too big, but we can adjust the sizes with our TailWind. Very huge. Let's look at the size compared to that. This is very small. So we can adjust that right now. So we can add a class name. We'll give it a width too, just to contain it. We'll go like with 30 and a height of 4. See how that looks. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. Drag this down. Perfect. Now, if you can't tell, this has a very subtle background color. It's not exactly white. But what we can do is inspect it, and we can see that exact color. Just have to find it, and it is right. It's the where it says background, the number sign F2, F7, FA. So we can just add that into our thing. It's right here also. F2, F7, FA. So what we can do is copy and paste that into our code. Check in on the chat real quick. Okay. So add that right here. We'll just copy and paste that in. And then once we save it, you can see it's no longer exactly white. Now we need to give this a height also, because this is a lot smaller than that. So we'll go with the height of, let's say, 24. Yeah, I'd say that looks good. Now we need to put this inside of the middle. So we'll go with items center. And there we go. Got it inside the middle. And I think that looks almost perfect. All right, now let's worry about the responsiveness. So let's see what it does currently. If we close it, That looks weird. And then if you go to the smallest, it's still there. It's getting all jumbled up. But let's see what we want it to happen. Okay, so it goes into a flex column. And then once it gets small, it disappears completely. And let's see exactly at what frame it goes to, or what amount of pixels. You can look up here at the top right that it goes into a flex column. So around 1060 pixels, roughly. Yeah, 1060. It goes into our regular flex row. Anything under 1060, it goes to a flex column. And then it disappears after. So we'll start by having this hidden. We'll save it. It should just disappear. Yep. Now let's see what our TailWind config says. So we don't have one that says 1060. But we do have our medium. What we can do is add things in there. So what we'll do is just add a 0XL, is what we'll call it. This is a media query. And then we'll add one that says 1060 pixels. And don't forget your comma if you don't have that comma in there, because this is an object. This will be highlighted red, and you'll get an error. So if you add that comma, you will no longer get an error. Don't forget to save. If you see a number up here, that means you didn't save. And let's see if this works. Okay, hidden, and then on medium, we'll display flex. And then also on the medium, it's flex column. So we'll add that in there too. And we'll save it. Now that should look weird just because we have justify between an item center in there. Let's go to medium. Once we get to medium, your matches shows up. Just what we want. Except for that this is supposed to be to the left. But now when we get to 0XL, we want it to flex row. So we can type in 0XL. And we'll go to flex row. Let's save it and see what it does. We can get our buddy out and inspect. And then watch this right, top right. See if it gets to 060, what happens. 1060. So right now it's still flex column. Once we got to 1060, we'll go a little bit slower. 159, 60, boom. Now it's no longer on top of each other. They're spread across, which is exactly what we want. Not bad at all. Okay. But on this is in the middle, and we don't want that. So what we'll do is only have justify between or item center. Let's try item center first, only for 0XL. We'll save that. Look at that. Once we only put this on extra large or 0XL, once we get below it, I'd say that looks good. Let's double check here. Now this looks like it's in the middle. So we'll do 0XL for here too. See what that does. Okay. That does that. Let's take off 0XL for here and see what happens. Nope, so we definitely want to keep that there. So what we'll do is on medium, we'll do justify around. to give space in between it and around it. We'll save it. I think that looks good. We got some space at the top, space at the bottom, and space in the middle. All right, we're cooking. And now we'll just do the bottom, the filter bar. But let's double check and make sure that this is fully what we want, just to be safe. Can never be too sure. Okay, for the large screen, we have it across from each other. We get smaller, under 1060. It goes into a column. And then once we get lower than medium, it should disappear. Perfect. We still have our hamburger bar up there with our JavaScript. See the last video to understand what's going on there. Cool. So we have this, and now we can create our new component for the filters. We're going to do something a little different with this just to see. Get a little bit of extra practice. So now that we're done with the header, we can close this out for now. We shouldn't need any more configs for now. Done with the nav bar. We'll need app.js because we'll add in our filter component underneath nav bar and header. So we'll create a new file. We'll call this filter.jsx. Same thing, React Arrow functional export component. And it may or may not receive props. Save it, it will say filter in between. And then we'll import it. And it should be this one that says /component/filter. And it'll automatically import once you do that. So closing. And once we save it, we should see filter come up somewhere in this area. Since there's no styling yet, we'll save it, and boom, filter pops up right there. Let's make sure it says whatever we want it to say. Type in hello world, save it. Yep, works just fine. All right, let's look at our little bar. So we have a left side and a right side. Let's make it bigger for now. Since we're not going to worry about responsiveness for now, we're just going to get everything in there. And then we'll worry about responsiveness next time. Okay, so we have a left side and a right side. The left side has how many matches that you have. And the right side has the filter options like sort, show, and then 3 little bars, 3 little boxes. I'm guessing this is the map. This is the list view, and this is the box view. And we'll do something special with this one. We'll create this ourselves. For these, we'll just find an icon that looks similar or roughly the same. So we know we'll need to split this up, and it'll be a left and a right side that's flexed, and it'll be justified between. We'll give our padding of 10% again, just to keep it in line with everything else. And then, yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. Let's start coding it out. Okay, we'll just use this div just because. We'll give it a class name of flex. We know we'll need that justify between. We know we'll need that padding right of 10%. We'll need the same thing with the padding left. And then we'll get a little bit of margin top to it because it's not directly under this. So we'll give it some margin top of, let's say 8. We'll save it. Nothing happens because we don't have anything there. But we can type something just to test it. We can just say hello. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it looks good. lined up very nicely. It's not directly jumbled up under this line here. Got a little bit of space going. And it's to the left, so we can delete this and we can start coding. Okay, so we'll have a dot left and a dot right. Just for now, we could chain it, but for simplicity, this is going to be the left side and this is going to be the right side. We'll start with the left. And the left is going to be, we'll have a nested span tag. One that says the bolded 66, and then the rest of it will say the matches with this little emoji. Doesn't matter the number, but we'll just keep it consistent and put 66. And then to nest the span tag, we'll put the space, start typing in span, and do the same thing here. Let's copy and paste that emoji that we have here. So all we need to do is just Control C and Control V, copy it in there, paste it in there. Let's save it. Looks good. Now we'll give this a class name, a font bold. And see what happens once we save it. So once we save it, it'll give everything a font bold. So we want to make sure to give that second span class, since it's nested inside of this, it'll give everything nested inside of it that same class name. So technically everything inside of here will inherit whatever we put in this class name. So everything inside of this span tag will inherit everything inside of this span tag and this div. So let's give it a class name. And we'll go with font light for this. Save it. That looks a lot better. And now we have that circle around both of them. And so since it's around both of them, when we're talking about inherited, we'll need to put all the styling in the class above it, which is this div with the class name of the left. So we'll give it height of maybe 8. We'll get a width of let's do like 130 pixels. That looks about right. We'll flex it as usual. Item center to have it in the center of the circle that we're creating. And then justify center also. Let's also put it in the center of the circle. We'll give it a border. The borders are kind of weird. They're like either too thick or not thick enough. So we'll give it a border of 0.5 pixels because that was a very thin border. And we'll give it a rounded, we'll go rounded full and see how that looks. Rounded full, and we'll give it a border of black. Let's save it and see how it looks so far. Okay, not bad at all. Let's pull up the other one. Not bad at all. There's a little bit of spacing in between that, but for now, I think that looks good. I think that looks very good for now. And that's a little bit darker. Let's try 0.3 pixels. 0.2. Well, we'll just need to change this color. We'll go with border slate. Let's see what the autocomplete is. Let's go with 900. Still looks the same as black. We'll worry about that later. For now, I think that looks perfect. Close to perfect. So now on the right side, since this is justify between up here, whatever's on this right side is going to go automatically all the way to the right. We can just test that out by typing in something random here. We'll just type in hello, save it. And as you see, hello is on the complete opposite end of whatever we put over here, which is exactly what we need. And we'll start from left to right because it'll push in. So if we keep typing, that hello will soon become in this spot. But instead of hello, we'll start putting our little input tags or select tags, and we'll just create these little boxes. Not too bad, and let's start coding it. Okay, and we know that this is going to be flexed. We'll delete this hello. And then we'll have different divs for each one of these. It may get a little bit of confusing, but if you have any questions, just ask me in the chat or in the comment section. So we'll have this first one. We'll just call it first select tag. And then we'll just give it a margin right of 2. Just to have a little bit of space inside of it. And inside of this, we'll have we'll give it a span tag that says sort. And then we'll have that select tag. And we're not gonna go do every single option in here. For now, we're just gonna put this first one because we have to type in all of this stuff. We don't really need it. We'll just type in newest first and see what happens. So inside the select tag, we'll have an option. And our first option and only option for this video, we'll say newest first. We'll save it and see what we get so far. So far we'll get this sort tag that has the newest first selection. Exactly what we want. Doesn't look exactly like this, but for now we'll get it on there and then we'll go from there. So make sure you're outside of this deal and go to the next one. So we'll go with dot second select tag. We'll also give this a margin right of 2. That was span tag. That says show. And then we'll have our other select that has the option that says all matches. We'll save that, see how it looks. Okay. We have the all matches. And then next we have these 3 little boxes. Okay. And these have little images inside of it. Just for fun, and we have a little bit of time, let's create this ourselves as best we can. At least make it similar. And then we'll just download these from a website that will be very, very convenient. And you'll see a lot of icons you use on this website that we go to. But let's try to make this ourselves first. So this is our first button. So we'll go back to VS Code and make sure we're under this. And these different colors is another extension that I have added that helps me stay in line. We'll call this the first button. First button class. And this first button is very weird. So it is a square, so we'll have the height and width of the same thing. So we'll give it a height of 8. Just to see how that looks, and then a width of 8. Won't have anything in it just because we're just getting started. Everything in it's going to be flexed. And then we're gonna have a weird thing that's flex column. We're gonna have these two in one and then these two in the next. There are many ways you can do this, but for now, we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna justify center, and then we're gonna align item center. And then we're gonna give it a random background color just for now. We'll go with like blue 300 for now. It's not the exact color, but we can get that exact color in a second. We'll save it and we'll get this random box for now. And now we'll need the little squares that go inside of it. Not bad so far. And so since we're gonna do column, we'll have a column of the top and the bottom. Let's go ahead and create our divs, dot top and dot bottom. And the top and the bottom are both gonna be flexed. Everything in it's gonna be aligned right next to each other. And let's start with the top. Now the top and the bottom are gonna be pretty much the same. So let's see what we can do. So we'll do a dot BG white. It's gonna have a background color of white. Dot H2 dot, and since it's a square, it's gonna be the same dot W2. And what we're doing is we're chaining what we are putting as our class name. And dot, we'll give this a margin right of, actually let's just dot margin right for now. We'll save it, it'll put us in the center. We give it a margin right of 1 pixel for now. Something small, we'll give it a rounded, let's go small for now. And then we'll give this one a margin bottom of 1 pixel. Save it, okay. I'd say that looks good. Let's just copy and paste this. Matter of fact, let's copy and paste this entire line and just get rid of some stuff. But once we put that in here, let's save and see what happens. Okay. So we get our two little squares. And now we'll need to do the same exact thing inside of our bottom. So the bottom will be flexed. Let's just copy and paste both of these in there and see what happens. We'll tab this in, paste that, save, and boom, look at that. It looks fairly similar. It's a little bit smaller. We can see if we can adjust that. See if height 1, no. Let's see how much height 2 is. 0.5 rem. 8 pixels. So it needs to be smaller than 8 pixels, but larger than 4 pixels. So let's go with in between that. 6 pixels and 6 pixels. Okay, let's see how that looks for the rest of them. Better. Okay. Do that and do this, save it. It looks a lot better. Now this is also rounded. Very, very slightly. So for this first button, we'll also do rounded small. See how that looks? Yeah, it looks good. And we created our first button ourselves. Now for these two, we're gonna make it very simple for us and just import an image and find these images on a website called Icon Duck. And I already pulled up the first one, which is list. It looks exactly the same. if I do say so myself. So what we can do, and this almost OMG, what's good, brother? Welcome, welcome. So what we can do is download this, save it as a PNG. We'll just drag and drop that. We'll go and add it directly to the assets. Now we don't want this extra stuff on the name. So let's rename this and we'll just call it list.png. Okay, and we can start creating our second button. And we want to make sure we're underneath this green color. I'm gonna delete this so it's not adding any extra random space. Keep everything in line. This color extension definitely helps you stay in line. Only if you need it. I don't need it, but I like to have it. So we'll just call this .second button. Tab in there. And inside of this, well, we want to give it the same, pretty much the same exact things as these. So we'll just copy and paste all of this. All the buttons are going to be roughly the same on the outer div. We won't really need the background color just because. We'll just paste that in here. Save it. Nothing will happen because we don't have anything inside of it yet, but it is there. Okay. And now what we'll need to do is create an image. And we'll need to import what we call list in there. We'll go ahead and type that in right here. But let's import that list image. Now we can call it whatever we want here, but for simplicity, we'll call it capital L list. And we're going to import that from /assets/list.png. And then we're gonna use JavaScript, which means we're gonna open those curly braces and type in list, save, and there it is. Looks very huge. So to make this better for us, let's give this a background color of slate 400 just so we can see what's going on here. It is rounded. And on this top one, let's give it a margin also. So just give it a margin right of 2. Get some space in between there. And that looks pretty much perfect. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Much love and it will be appreciated. Okay, let's keep going. So we need to make this image a hell of a lot smaller because right now it's the same exact size. So let's go class name. Let's go height 2 and width 2 since it's roughly a square. That's way too small. Let's try 3. And that looks, I'd say, fairly good. Let's try like width 4 and see what happens. Yeah, that's awesome right there. Okay, we'll do the same exact thing for the last button. We'll find that map picture. See if they have it inside of Icon Duck. Great website if you didn't know. Let's type in map and search. Okay, and this looks like that. And I think this one looks exactly like it. So remember, Icon Duck has a lot of different pictures that you may use, you may need. I'm gonna drag that inside of here. Rename this to make it easier to access. Just call it map.png. We don't need this anymore. We'll go ahead and import it. Now remember, we can call it whatever we want to. We can call it Bob if we wanted to, but for simplicity, we're gonna call it map and import it from /assets / because we're going out and into the assets folder. And then we're going to import map.png If we save it, we'll get the warning that says map is defined but never used. So we have to use it to get that warning to disappear. So let's create that last button. Remember to line up inside of this. We'll call this .last button. And we'll give this the exact same stuff as this one. Maybe change the background color. Did we give this one a margin yet? No, we didn't. So we'll give this a margin right of 2 also. And we'll give this a background color of pink for now. Just because. We'll give this an image also. And then we'll use JavaScript to import the image. And we called it map. We'll just type map in here for now. If we save, map will be taking up the entire box. We need it to be a lot smaller. Okay. And we'll just try and let's see, class name, give it a height of 4 and a width of 4. I think that looks almost perfect. Okay. Now all of this is in the center. So we need to do that. So inside of the right, we'll need to align center. Let's justify center also. Oh, first let's edit these to make this look exactly like this. That's a cool hover color. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So let's inspect it. So this has a background color of white, but the border is or the box shadow is different. So what we can do is inspect, and once we click in here, we can see exactly what they have. So for their box shadow, they have 0, 2 pixels, 6 pixels, 0, and they have a RGBA or an RGB of 0, 0, 0. Oh, it is an RGBA, 30%. And we can do that ourselves. So let's do that to create this exactly. So first we need to give it some height also. Let's first find it. And we're gonna put this directly inside of the select tag because it's not the entire thing, it's only the select options. So we'll go class name. We'll give it a height of 8. And it's very slightly rounded. So we'll go round it small. Actually, let's go extra small. It's very, very slightly rounded. Now we want the box shadow to be exactly this number. So let's do that. So we'll go shadow. Normally you can choose between these, but we're gonna choose our own. And these have different values in it. So let's see how to do that. So inside of that, we type in 0. Then we do an underscore, not a space. We do an underscore for a TailWind. 2 pixels, underscore, 6 pixels, underscore, 0. And then we do underscore. We'll type in the RGBA. And then we'll do the 0, 0, 0, and since that's 30%, we'll do 0.3, which is the same thing. Save it. Let's look at what we have. And now we have pretty much the exact same thing as that for this first select bar. Can pull it down below so we can see. Only thing is, for this one, we don't have the hover animation going on. But we could do that too. But first, let's do the other select. So let's do that. Pull open VS Code again. And what we can do is just copy and paste that directly into the other select tag. Actually, we'll just go ahead and copy the class name too, since we don't have a class name. Select that. And don't forget the extra that. Save. Now they both look like that. Perfect. Now let's pull up the color for this. Do this, and the color is this one. So this will be our background color. Control C, open up VS Code, and let's go to our first one. And instead of background color of blue, we'll add our own very special background color. Save. And now that background color looks exactly like this one. Now these have a background color of white with a little bit of box shadow. We'll see what we have over there. We'll go to the second and third or last button. We'll just type in BG white for both. Now, since there isn't a box shadow, it won't be very prominent, but we can change that. So right now it looks like nothing is there, but we can add this box shadow that they have. And once we inspect it, we'll see exactly what they have there. Okay. Their box shadow is 0, 2 pixels, 4 pixels. And then the RBGA 000 30%. So this one only has 3 numbers inside of it. So let's do that. Okay, open up VS Code. Type in shadow, and it's gonna be our own special shadow. We're gonna just look and see what we have. 0 underscore 2 pixels underscore 4 pixels underscore RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.3. Save that and see what we got. Now that looks exactly like this one. Perfect. And we'll do the exact same thing for both of these two. So all we'll need to do is just copy and paste it over. Okay. We'll Control C. Make sure we're at the correct place. We can copy and paste it anywhere also. So we'll copy and paste this one at the front. And then the first button, we'll copy and paste this at the front also. Why not? Save it. Now it looks exactly like this one. It looks like if this one is selected, it has a inner shadow. So on the first one, we'll actually change that to inner. We won't worry about the styling. We'll just say shadow inner. Save it. Now we have a very slight shadow. We could inspect it and see exactly what they have, but actually let's do it. Why not? So it's an inset. I think that's what we were supposed to type in. Let's see. Oh, it is an inset. It's just very slightly different. Okay, we'll just leave it like this for now. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And that looks awesome. Okay. We're not going to worry about responsiveness so far. But so far, I think this looks awesome. And for next time, we will worry about responsiveness for this bar. Oh, let's do the hover. Now we don't know this exact color, but we can find it out. Okay, see if they have a hover section over here. We have that cursor pointer. But do we have the hover? I'm gonna assume this is the hover color, since this is that. So let's do that. Okay. Keep up the good work. I appreciate it, Code Monk. Thank you, sir. All right, let's give this a hover. Let's open back up VS Code. Let's see if this on all of them. Not for these, only for those two. Okay, so we don't have to worry about it for these. Okay. We'll give it a hover. And then for this, we'll do this exact same shadow. But we're gonna give it a different RGBA. Actually, let's see what happens if we just copy and paste this hex color inside. Can I copy it like that? Let's see. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's go to R's. Okay, let's first give it a cursor pointer. Okay, let's go back to RGBA. We'll just do something weird. We'll just go, what's a very weird RGBA? We'll go 115, 110, 90. I have no idea what this is, but we'll see. See if it does something first. Okay. So I have to fiddle with this a little bit. But for now, it should be good. We'll worry about the hover next time. We'll try to see if we can do this little button next time too, because this has just a little arrow and this is a complete triangle. But for now, we have our top of our website roommates. And I think this looks good. Okay. It's responsive, and then that disappears. You don't have to worry about the responsiveness as for this next time. Because then once we close it, it starts getting a little jumbled up. And then this goes out of the circle because it's a specific width. But that doesn't happen on this site. That disappears and then matches goes all across the screen, and then this moves to the bottom and they take away the map view for this size, and this is bigger also. So we'll do that next time, but for now we got the responsiveness for the top, and then next time we'll try to squeeze in some logic inside to map out just some random things. We'll probably create an object that has random names in it and locations and things like that to create this and put the perfect match picture at the top of every single div or image. We probably won't make this many people or pages. We'll just do just this one page for now, and then do a footer. So that'll be next time. And how long has this been? An hour on the dot. Perfect. Okay, let's do a little bit of coding practice to end. Let's open this up. Okay. Create a function that returns an array of booleans from a given number by iterating through the number one digit at a time, appending true into the array if the digit is 1 and false otherwise. Okay, so we could do this a number of ways. So what we'll need to do is go through each number inside of the string. This is a string, it looks like. And so this first one is 1. So we'll append 1 into our array, then 0, then 0, 1, 0, 1. Not bad at all. So this one will be false, false, true. Let's code that out. So we can do this a number of ways. For simplicity, we'll just create a result array. Let result equal an empty array. And we'll do for let I equal 0. I is less than n dot length, since it is a string. And then I plus plus, a for loop to iterate through the string. And then we'll go if, we'll go n at I is equal to 1, string 1. What would we want to do if n equals 1? Well, what we'll want to do is access our result array and push in true inside of our array. And then we don't know if there's going to be other numbers. Oh, it's okay. It says expect numbers with 0 and 1 only. So we would, if there was like other numbers inside, do like an else if, or another if statement that if n of I equals 0, push false, and then the else, or you wouldn't even need an else, you just do nothing. But since it's only going to be 0s and 1s, that means if it's not 1, it can only be 0. So we'll just do else result dot push false. Help if you spell it correctly. And then once we do that, we can go through what we have right now. So if I is 0, it starts at the index of 0. And then we'll check if I equals 1. It does not equal 1, it equals 0. So that if this thing is not correct, so it'll automatically go to the else. And that else says result dot push false. So that first element will be false. And if we keep going, next is false. It'll do that again, and then it does equal true, or it does equal 1. So true will get pushed. So that looks right. So what we'll need to do is return what we have in our result. Return result. Let's see if what we get is correct. And that is correct. All right. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and see you next time.